The surgeon warned me the black market neural implant might have echoes of its last user. He didn't tell me I'd wake up with a stranger's memories of being murdered, or that the corporation that killed her now thinks I'm her, and they're coming to finish the job. My name is Kai, and I did this for my sister. The rain on the clinic's plastic roof sounds like 1,000 tiny knives. Every drop is a second ticking off the clock for a Lyra, wasting away in a charity ward with a sickness no one can name. The echo implant in my temple, still warm from the illegal surgery, is supposed to be my skeleton key. It can hack the medical databases, find a treatment, steal a cure. Love made me desperate. Guilt made me stupid. Because now, beneath the chemical smell of the chop shop, I smell ozone and expensive perfume. A memory that isn't mine. Neo-Kyoto is a city of layers. Up there, the Aramaki Tower spears the perpetual night, a needle of light and arrogance. Down here in the Warrens, the neon from the noodle bars and data dens bleeds into the oily puddles, reflecting a world that's crumbling. I'm a data mule. I know these streets, the rhythm of patrol drones, the blind spots, or I did. Now my own head feels like hostile territory. The first ghost comes as I'm fleeing the clinic, my coat pulled high. A flash, not a thought, but a full sensory imprint. The cool, sterile texture of a lab table under her fingertips. The taste of fear, metallic and sharp. A sequence of data glowing in my mind's eye, Project Chimera. Classification, eyes only. Termination, protocol active. Then a woman's voice, calm and final, whispering to someone unseen. They'll never let it get out. The spill was in the District 6 water main. I stumble, clutching a rusted drainage pipe. District 6, the stacks, where Lyra got sick, where half my neighborhood is coughing up blood. This isn't an echo, it's a message in a bottle, and I just smashed it open. My hand, moving without my full command, pulls up a public news feed on my wristcom. My fingers, slick with rain, dart with a speed and precision I don't possess. They bypass standard filters, digging into obituary archives. A face resolves on the tiny screen. Dr. Lyra Chen, Senior Bioengineer, Tsukumoto Genetics. Listed cause of death, neural hemorrhage. A tragic accident, the woman in my memory, the ghost in my shell. A new window pops open, a priority alert flashing red across my vision. Not on the public net, on the implant's private channel. It's a system ping, a location beacon, and it's transmitting. No, 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 I whisper, fumbling with mental commands I don't understand. The ping won't silence. It's a heartbeat pulsing my coordinates out into the night. The surgeon's warning echoes. Sometimes the old firmware doesn't fully wipe. Little echoes. This isn't an echo, it's a homing signal. From the rooftop above, a shadow detaches itself from the neon glare. Not a drone, too quiet, too fluid. It's a man in a sleek, non-reflective suit, his eyes scanning the alley with a methodical, predatory grace. Corporate security, cleaners, they move with a quiet certainty that street enforcers never have. He's tracking the signal, my signal. I shrink back into a doorway, my heart a frantic drum against my ribs. The ghost stirs again. This time it's not a memory, but a raw, directive impulse. A route unfolds in my mind's eye, a path through a maze of back alley ducts and maintenance tunnels I've never seen. It's her knowledge, her city. She's trying to save the body she now inhabits. Do I run my route or hers? Trust my street smarts or the instincts of a dead woman? The cleaner on the roof turns his head, his gaze sweeping toward my hiding place. There's no more time. I choose the ghost's path, ducking into a rusted grate I've passed 100 times and never noticed. The metal shrieks as I pull it shut behind me. In the absolute darkness of the tunnel, the only light is the soft, relentless pulse of the locator beacon in my neural interface. I can't stop it. I can only run, carrying a dead woman's secrets in my skull, a beacon on my back, and one terrible, dawning realization. This wasn't an accident. The echo implant wasn't just used. It was planted, and I didn't find it. It found me. The ghost's route is a nightmare of dripping pipes and forgotten spaces. I move through the city's arteries, guided by a map I never studied. My own panic is a shrill static, but beneath it runs a cold, clear stream of focus. Lyra S. She navigates the maintenance tunnels like they're her own memories. A left at the junction box with the frayed wires. A crawl through a conduit where the air tastes of rust and ozone. The pulsing locator beacon in my skull is a second heartbeat, a countdown I can't stop. I emerge into a derelict recycling plant, the cavernous space lit by the sickly green glow of bioluminescent algae vats. The rain drums a frantic rhythm on the corrugated roof far above. For a moment, there's only the sound of my ragged breathing. The beacon's pulse softens, then dies. A command I didn't issue. A firewall hastily erected by my unwanted passenger. You can silence it, I whisper into the damp air. My voice sounds alien. A response forms, not in my ears, but in the space behind my eyes. Words etched in light. The beacon is a trap, a honeypot. They want to see who comes for the data. Who's they? I snap, clutching my head. Tsukumoto Genetics, you worked for them. What is Project Chimera? A flood of sensory fragments hits me. Not a linear memory, but a shattered collage. A laboratory impossibly clean. Rows of glass cylinders holding pulsing, amorphous tissue. A schematic of a viral vector designed not to heal but to rewrite, to target specific genetic markers, poverty markers. The smell of chlorine overwhelming from a report on a containment breach in a District 6 water filtration plant. And a single, chilling line of text: Population Control Protocol, Demonstration Phase. My knees buckle, I vomit into a grimy puddle, the acid taste mixing with the ghost taste of laboratory antiseptic. District 6, the stacks, where the cheap water main feeds the entire sector, where Lyra lives, where she got sick. It wasn't an illness, it was a test. The ghost Lyra pushes another memory forward, her own sharp with terror. She's in a data vault, a shard of crystalline storage in her hand. She's copying everything. The proof. A man's voice, calm and reasonable, comes from the vault door. Dr. Chen, the project requires discretion, return the data. She runs, and then the final imprint, the searing, white-hot pain at her temple, not an accident, a neural scrub, an execution. I'm not just carrying a ghost, I'm carrying a witness, and the evidence. A new alert flashes, this time on my own wristcom, bypassed from the public net. It's from the charity ward's automated system. Lyra's condition has been upgraded, critical respiratory failure. They're moving her to a corporate facility, Tsukumoto's own med center, for specialized observation. A cold deeper than the tunnel's chill seizes my chest. They don't just want the data back, they're gathering the test subjects, containing the evidence. We have to go to the authorities, I say, scrambling to my feet. Lyra's response is a wave of grim, cynical certainty. An image forms, a news anchor on a screen reporting Lyra's accidental death, then a file flashing quickly. Biographies, faces, a city councillor, a health inspector, a journalist, all dead, all accidents. The last face is a man I recognize, a loudmouth activist from the stacks who was demanding an investigation into the sickness. He was found floating in the canal 2 days ago. Tsukumoto doesn't clean up leaks. They evaporates them. The recycling plant's main door, a slab of rusted metal, groans open. A slice of neon-lit rain cuts into the gloom. Silhouetted against it are 2 figures in the same sleek, non-reflective suits. Cleaners. They've triangulated the last beacon pulse. They move in unison, weapons held low and ready. Not blasters, neural disruptors, tools for erasing ghosts without damaging the hardware. I back away, my heels scraping on the wet concrete. There's no other exit. The algae vats bubble beside me, their green light painting everything in a nightmarish hue. I'm trapped. The ghost in my head is screaming a single silent command. Not to run, to fight. But I'm a data courier, not a soldier. Then, from the shadows high in the gantry cranes, a voice cuts through the drumming rain. It's rough, edged with static. Hey, Corpsec, your budget covered dry cleaning for biohazard suits. A canister clatters onto the floor between the 2 cleaners. It doesn't explode, it erupts. The canister doesn't explode with fire, but with a thick, iridescent mist that billows across the floor. It smells like rotten eggs and burnt plastic. The 2 cleaners hesitate for a split second, their advanced optics probably screaming with biohazard warnings. That's all the opening the voice from the rafters needs. A figure drops down, landing in a crouch between me and the mist. He's not Corpsec sleek. He's a patchwork of scavenged armor and old military surplus, a respirator slapped over the lower half of his face. In his hands is a heavy, modified rivet gun, humming with a charge that makes the air crackle. Through the vats, he barks, his voice muffled but urgent. He doesn't look at me. He's watching the mist, where the cleaners are now advancing, their suits shimmering as they activate some kind of sealant field. Lyra's ghost doesn't argue. A new path flashes in my mind, not an exit, but a route directly toward the bubbling, green-lit algae tanks. It's corrosive to their polymer suits, her thought voice insists, cool and clinical. Go, now. I don't think I run. My savior, or my next problem, lays down covering fire, the charged rivets sparking against the cleaner's shields. I reach the nearest vat, a massive tube of murky, glowing green liquid. A maintenance ladder is bolted to its side. I scramble up, the metal slick with condensation. From the top, the plant floor looks like a battlefield in a nightmare. The mist is spreading. The stranger is falling back, his weapon overheating. One cleaner breaks through, dodging a rivet, and raises his neural disruptor. I see the emitter coil glow a sickly blue. A memory that isn't mine hijacks my motor control. My hand snaps to my belt, to a data spike I carry for hardline ports. I don't throw it. I drop it, straight down, into the open control panel of the algae vat stirring mechanism. The machinery groans, then shrieks. The giant paddles inside the vat reverse, churning the liquid into a violent whirlpool. With a sound like a thunderclap, the seam of the vat bursts. A wave of bioluminescent sludge, thick as concrete, erupts across the floor. It swallows the advancing cleaner up to his chest, the corrosive algae instantly eating into his suit with a hiss of melting polymers. He doesn't scream. He just goes rigid, then silent. The stranger grabs my arm, pulling me down the other side. Neat trick, this way. We crash through a rusted emergency door into a narrow service alley. The rain is a blessing, washing the green gunk from my hands. He pushes me against a wall, his respirator hissing as he pulls it down. He's older than I expected, with a face carved by hard years and a network of old datajack scars along his temple. His eyes scan me, not with threat, but with a desperate, calculating intensity. "The Echo," he says, not asking. "You're broadcasting on Lyra's old emergency channel. Faint, but I caught it. I'm Rook. She contacted me the night she died. Sent a fragment, just enough to tell me to watch for the signal." My mind reels. You knew her. She was trying to expose Chimera. I move evidence for people like her, the kind that gets you killed. He glances back at the door. We have about 90 seconds before their backups arrive. The implant in your head. It's not just a beacon, it's the decryption key. To what? The data she died for, the full Chimera archive. She split it, hid the lock in her own neural matrix, a dead man's switch. The data itself is somewhere else. They've been hunting the storage shard for weeks, but they need the key to open it. You are the key. The revelation hits me like a physical blow. The implant wasn't a mistake or just a trap. It's the one piece of the puzzle the corporation doesn't have. They didn't just kill Lyra. They dissected her mind for it, and when they couldn't find it, they dumped the hardware on the black market, waiting to see who it would call to. I was the bait, and Rook was the target. "Why help me?" I gasp. "Because she's not gone, is she?" Rook's eyes search mine, looking for a ghost. "And because your sister is in Tsukamoto Med Center right now. They're not observing her, they're cataloging her. She's a Chimera test subject. The only way to get her out is to burn the whole project down with the truth." A new alert flashes on Rook's own wristcom, a silent, encrypted pulse. He pales. They've sealed the district, full quarantine protocol. They're calling it a containment drill for a synthetic pathogen. The iridescent mist from Rook's canister clings to the alley walls, but the real poison is in his words. A citywide quarantine, not to contain a pathogen, but to contain the truth. And my sister is inside their lab, a specimen in a drawer. "We can't stay here," Rook says, his voice a low rasp. He reactivates his respirator with a click. The quarantine grid is automated. Every facial scan, every biosignature outside a designated zone gets flagged. They'll funnel everyone into processing centers for decontamination. A memory, sharp and cold, surfaces from Lyra. Not a full scene, but a schematic. The city's underground utility grid with one sector blinking red. The old geothermal line to Sector 9, her thought voice whispers in my mind. It's outside the official maps, a blind spot. I relay it to Rook. He nods, a flicker of grim respect in his eyes. The steam tunnels, it's a maze, and it's hot enough to cook sensors. Follow me. We move not through the streets, but through the city's crumbling skeleton. Rook leads me to a maintenance hatch hidden behind a flickering hologram ad for synthetic protein. The heat hits me first, a wet, oppressive blanket that soaks my clothes instantly. The tunnel is a cathedral of rusted pipes, hissing and groaning, lit by the intermittent pulse of failing hazard lights. The air smells of sulfur and decay. For 10 minutes there is only the sound of our footsteps on metal grates and the distant, rhythmic thrum of the city's heart above us. It's a tense, fragile silence. Then Rook speaks, his voice echoing oddly in the confined space. "Lyra contacted me through a dead drop server. She was scared but resolved. She said Chimera wasn't a weapon, not exactly." He glances back at me, his eyes gauging my reaction. It was a solution, a cheap airborne corrective for overpopulation in designated low-value districts, a sickness that could be cured by a proprietary treatment, locking entire sectors into medical debt servitude to Tsukamoto. The spill in District 6 was the field test. Your sister. She's part of the control group. The pieces snapped together with a horrifying clarity. The sickness wasn't the point. The cure was. They create the problem, then sell the solution. Forever, my guilt curdles into a rage so pure it feels like ice. I did this to save Lyra. I led her right to the people who made her sick. We reach a junction where 3 tunnels converge. Rook consults a battered palm projection of the maze. Lyra's ghost stirs, pushing a correction. He's wrong. The left tunnel is collapsed. Take the center. It leads to a safe point. I grab Rook's arm. Center tunnel, left is blocked. He looks from me to his map, then to the dark mouth of the left passage. My intel is 2 days old, hers is older. He makes a decision. Center it is. The relief is brief. As we turn, a new signal pings on my neural interface. Not the beacon, something else. A data packet, compressed and encrypted, tucked in a dark corner of the Echo's architecture. It unfolds without my consent. Yo log. Lyra's face, pale and drawn, fills my mind's eye. She's in a private lab recording secretly. If you're seeing this, the dead man's switch has triggered. I'm sorry, for whoever you are. Her eyes are full of a terrible pity. The decryption key isn't just in the implant. The final sync requires a voluntary neural handshake. My consciousness patterns must fully align with yours to unlock the data core. It's the only way to prevent Tsukamoto from forcing it open. But the process. It's designed for a full memory transfer, to overwrite. The log ends, the truth of the key lands like a physical blow. To get the evidence, to get the cure for Lyra, I have to let Lyra in. All the way in, I might not come back out. Rook sees me stagger. What is it? Before I can answer, a sound echoes down the tunnel from the way we came. Not the hiss of steam, the precise, synchronized click of magnetic boots on metal, a lot of them. There in the tunnels, Rook whispers, drawing his rivet gun. We run, the heat now feeling like a predator at our backs. The center tunnel slopes upward, ending at a heavy, circular door marked with faded radiation symbols, an old fallout shelter. Rook works on the manual release wheel, muscles straining. The clicking boots are closer. A beam of light from a shoulder-mounted lamp sweeps the tunnel behind us, illuminating the swirling steam. The door groans open. We spill into a small, circular chamber lined with decaying supply crates. Rook heaves the door shut, spinning the locking wheel. The locking wheel on the fallout shelter door spins with a shriek of protesting metal. From the other side, a calm, amplified voice cuts through the noise. Dr. Chen, Kai, open the door. There is no tactical advantage to resistance. We only want the decryption key. Rook braces against the door, his rivet gun aimed at the center. They'll burn through in 3 minutes, he grunts, or just gas us. I'm backed against a stack of crates, the video logs warning screaming in my head. A voluntary neural handshake, a full alignment. To save Lyra, I have to risk becoming Lyra. The ghost in my machine feels closer than ever, a silent, waiting presence at the edge of my consciousness. The central mystery isn't a mystery anymore. Project Chimera is a business model, a manufactured plague to create a perpetual customer base. My sister isn't sick, she's inventory. I have to do it, I whisper, more to myself than to Rook or the ghost. I have to sink. Rook's eyes widen. That's what she told you. It's a suicide run, kid, you might not come back. What choice do I have? She's in their lab. The words tear out of me, raw with a love that feels like my only anchor. Tell me how. Lyra's thought voice is calm, final. Lower your mental firewalls, all of them. Don't fight the memory stream. Let it flow. Look for the core. The data vault is a memory. Find the door. I close my eyes. In the dark of my mind, I stop fighting. I stop being just Kai. I let the walls down. The invasion isn't violent, it's a flood. Lyra's life pours into me, not as a jumbled echo, but as a coherent river. The late nights in the lab, the pride in the work turning to dread as she understood its purpose. The love for a city she was helping to poison. The moment she decided to burn her life down to save it. I feel her resolve, her fear, her terrible loneliness. And beneath it all, a profound, aching guilt for what she helped create, and for dragging me into this. I am Kai, I am Lyra. The boundaries blur then dissolve. We are a we. In the merged space of our consciousness, a door appears. Not a physical one, a construct of light and memory, etched with the Tsukamoto Helix logo, the data core, the proof of everything. Together, we reach for it. In the real world, my body slumps against the crate. Rook shouts my name. The shelter door begins to glow orange around the edges as a cutting torch bites into the metal. Inside, our combined hands touch the door. It swings open. Not to files or schematics, to a live feed. It's the Tsukamoto Med Center from a hidden administrative camera. Rows of beds in a sterile ward. My sister Lyra is in the third bed, unconscious, monitors blinking. A man in a lab coat, the same calm voice from the vault the night Lyra died, stands at the foot of her bed, reviewing a tablet. The District 6 demonstration is conclusive, he says to a colleague off-screen. The corrective pathogen performs within parameters. Initiate Phase 2. Rollout of the proprietary suppressant to the containment zone. Price point at 70% of average district income. The logical twist isn't in the plan, it's in the execution. As he speaks, the camera feed glitches. A second hidden data layer beneath the video unlocks. It's a list. Thousands of names, genetic profiles, and purchase orders. Pre-signed contracts for the suppressant, tied to biometric data from the city's mandatory ID scans. The contracts aren't for the sick, they're for everyone in District 6. The spill exposed the entire population. They were all infected. The sickness was just the first invoice. The cure is a life sentence of debt. The corporation didn't just weaponize a virus, they weaponized the entire concept of healthcare. We have it, all of it, The proof, the plans, the cold, economic calculus of genocide. Now we have to send it. The sync is complete. I am Kai, but Lyra's skills, her knowledge of the city's deepest data arteries, are now mine. Ours. I open my eyes. The world is sharper, overlaid with data streams I can now see and manipulate. The cutting torch is halfway through the door. Rook is staring at me. Kai. It's both of us, I say, and my voice has a new, strange certainty. I need a direct line to the public mesh, unfiltered. He nods to a rusted console in the corner, a relic with a physical data port. Old civil defense broadcaster, might have one clean channel left. I jam my data spike into the port. With our combined will, we push. We don't just send files. We hijack every public screen, every personal comm, every flickering hologram ad in Neo-Kyoto. The data tears through Neo-Kyoto's digital veins. One moment, the city is a cascade of ads for synth coffee and virtual vacations. The next, every screen fractures into a nightmare. The hidden camera feed from the med center plays, my sister's unconscious face beside the doctor's cold economic analysis. The purchase orders scroll, a waterfall of names and debt sentences. The Project Chimera files bloom like digital poison. Silence for 3 heartbeats, the entire city holds its breath. Then the fallout shelter door explodes inward in a shower of molten metal and sparks. The cleaners pour through, not with disruptors but with heavy rifles. They're not here to capture the key anymore, they're here to destroy it. Rook opens fire, his rivet gun roaring in the confined space. I'm already moving, Lyra's combat reflexes layered over my own desperation. We dive behind a stack of crates as bullets shred the air where we stood. The console where we uploaded the truth sparks and dies. The broadcast is looped. I shout to Rook over the gunfire. They can't stop it. They don't need to stop it, he yells back, reloading. They just need to kill the source. Makes you a liar makes it a hack, a conspiracy theory. He's right, the logical twist completes its terrible arc. The implant, the hunt, the quarantine, it was all a trap, but not just to catch Lyra's contacts. It was to discredit the truth before it was ever told. A dead girl and a dead data courier can't verify a thing. The lead cleaner advances, his voice still that infuriating calm. Terminate the mule. Recover the neural core for verification. They're going to cut Lyra out of my head, and take everything else with it. In the merged space of our mind, there is no panic. There is only a final, seamless calculation. We are Kai and Lyra. We see the room not as a tomb, but as a tool. The old civil defense system has a battery backup. A geothermal capacitor, unstable, long condemned. The access panel is 10 feet away, behind a curtain of gunfire. Rook, I scream, the red panel on my mark. He doesn't question. He lays down a furious barrage, chewing up the floor in front of the cleaners, forcing them to take cover. I move, not with my own grace, but with Lyra's precise, efficient certainty. A bullet grazes my arm, a line of fire. I don't feel it. We reach the panel. The final command is a whisper from a ghost who is now me. For Lyra, for everyone. I slam my data spike into the override port. The system isn't meant to be opened. It's meant to be contained. Warning klaxons blare. The cleaners hesitate, their sensors screaming. The capacitor doesn't explode. It unleashes. A pulse of raw electromagnetic energy floods the chamber. Every light blows out. Every weapon goes dead. The cleaners' sleek suits go dark, then lock up, becoming high-tech coffins. In the sudden, absolute darkness, there is only the sound of strained breathing and the sizzle of fried electronics. Then from outside, a new sound filters down. Not sirens. A roar, the sound of a city waking up to its own murder. Rook flicks on a torch. The cleaners are frozen statues. He looks at me, his face etched in the stark beam. What did you do? We gave them the truth, I say, my voice steady. Now they have to choose what to do with it. We climb out of the shelter, emerging onto a rooftop. Neo-Kyoto is transformed. The gleaming spires of the corporate zones are dark, locked down. But the Warrens, the Stacks, District 6, they are alive with light, with movement. Crowds are forming in the streets below, their faces illuminated by the proof still playing on their wrist comms, on jury-rigged screens. The quarantine barricades are being pushed against. The central mystery is answered, naked and ugly. Project Chimera was the ultimate product. A sickness you could bill for, a cure that was the real disease. My sister was never just sick. She was a line item. 2 days later, I stand at the window of a clandestine clinic. The news streams are chaotic. Tsukamoto executives are cooperating with inquiries. The med center has been secured. The official story is crumbling under the weight of 1 million shared files. Lyra sleeps in a clean bed behind me. The proprietary suppressant, reverse-engineered from the data we stole, flows into her veins. Her breathing is easy for the first time in months. She will live, but she will live in the world we revealed. Rook is gone, already moving the next piece of evidence for the next ghost in the machine. And Lyra, she is quiet, not gone. A settled presence, a scar on my soul, a conscience in my cortex. The sync is permanent. I remember her first kiss, her favorite song, the way she took her coffee.